welcome everyone here on site and live in the internet. This is the Open Pitch Friday, first Friday of every month that we bring here students, staff, and all those excited about startups in the Jyväskylä region in Finland. My name is Professor Pekka Abrahamsson. I'm the head of the StartupLab, where we have the event every month. I'm very happy to see that you guys made it. We have lab coffee, so make sure that you drink that, because that's the coffee that keeps us alive here in the lab. And today we have 3 pitches, and the way we work is about let's say a bit over 5 minutes every pitch, and then we have some questions from the audience. I will ask something and we can engage, and important to give feedback. And I already see that the first pitcher is here, so Akseli, I give you the floor to introduce yourself and get the show on the road.
All right. Thank you, Pekka. Hello, all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Akseli, and I'm from ShareWay, and we're here to talk about ShareWay. And what do we do in ShareWay is that we want to make the parking slot peer-to-peer rental a new normal. And let's get down to the numbers, get you down why we're doing what we're doing, and why we want to make it a new normal. And as all of you know that uses cars and commutes on the city centrals, is that it's really hard to find the parking slots, and affordable ones, to say the least. And on the same time, those private spots are that every one of you are using. They're not utilized more than 28 to 53% at all times. And you see the numbers, and you feel why we're doing it. So what we want to do is create 3 models for peer-to-peer rental, and of course there's name spots and pool models, but purely what we want to do is peer-to-peer rental from people to people. And our service is as simple as it gets. A platform for individuals, and of course we want to provide a control panel for housing companies and other companies that can be used on our service, because they also have their own parking spots that are not used most of the day. Let's say companies that use their parking slots only by their own employees, is that they're used 8 to 10 hours a day, and the rest of the day not used at all. And well, down the business, down the numbers, there's our revenue model, and there's 5,000 private slots in Jyväskylä on the central city area, and that's just people on spots. In overall, there's 8,000 spots that's counted, also the company spots. So 20% of all slots with our 40% commission from every rental happens, 1.2 million annual income with 8 hours utilization rate per day. And our competition is, well, peer-to-peer rental even for parking spots. It's not perfectly new, because there's companies doing that, but what they're doing is long-term rental. And what differentiates us from those companies is that we want to make it dynamic. We want to make it so easy that it's actually comparable for normal parking that you use on the city centrals. And there's our team. We have a highly experienced team with tech side and the business side. And as we see, we have in crowd Renne and Jaakko, which are our lead backend, lead front-end developers. And I could say that they've been doing a pretty good job with the software recently. And here we get the situation right now. We had our pilot that was interesting, that was successful, and we learned a lot with that. We had the pilot with Young's parking slots, and next step right now is crucial one because we're doing soft launch with a couple companies that we want to integrate payment methods and parking control, which are crucial for our business, of course. And for growth, we want to make things working here in Jyväskylä. And then we actually want to move on to the next cities because there's loads and loads of regions and cities that face the same problem as Jyväskylä. Everybody knows that in Helsinki it's pain in the ass to park around there and it's super expensive. And of course we're looking for cooperation because we want to make this a new normal, and for that we need parking slots companies, and we need critical mass of parking slots and people using that. And of course, research wish on sharing economy and better cities. Better cities is that what we want to develop with our software and our business. Thank you.
All right. Hoo-ha! Excellent feeling. Happy to see the first presentation. Hey, where are the numbers? All the startups always present some numbers. So you saw the numbers, but you had a pilot.
Yeah.
So anything that you said you learned a lot. So did you learn something in terms of numbers?
In numbers is that loads of people use Apple. That on the next step we also need Apple on the board because we had only for Android users, and like everybody that's been working on software business and apps, they know that Apple could be paying the ass when publishing new applications. But as on the tech side, we're doing it on React Native, that we can build native apps for both Apple and Android, and right now is all about publishing.
Thank you. We have to strike that pain in the ass from this broadcast. But so let's hear from the audience. I think here we have a question, please.
There's a trend that more and more people are renting out cars. So there's dedicated spots for, let's say, they're leasing cars. They're just for half an hour, 1 hour. So they don't have any more personal parking lots anymore. So how do you fit that in that model? Because there's a trend that people don't own a car anymore.
Yeah. That's on the housing.
Could you please repeat the question so you can?
So the question was that there's this new trend going on that people don't actually own their cars anymore. There's sharing cars and how do you say it? Well, sharing cars. And on Helsinki city area, and I believe in Turku also, there's specific parking lots that are specifically for the rental cars that is used for everybody. And we haven't yet implemented that on our model because they're not, it's still so small that they're not actually our focus group right now. Of course, in the further development, we want to use that.
Or as you have in the roadmap, you have this somewhere in the future, but not in the, let's say, initial stages.
Yeah, because that's not our primary right now.
Do you see it as a threat, the sharing economy?
No, of course not. Because that's one huge trend, and everything on sharing economy, it boosts up the whole sharing economy community because it comes as a new normal for every business.
All right. Other comments, please?
Yeah, you're dealing with very fashionable issue, the sharing economy and mobile apps, etc. And actually, I had exactly the same question in my mind, like the previous speaker had. But what was something that I didn't understand completely? What is actually your business model? How are you acquiring those parking slots that you are delivering?
So what we do is that everybody who owns those parking spots can make it available on our system. Now, of course, that requires marketing and people. But the most easy way for us to get those parking spots is to approach companies and housing companies which have a lot of those parking spots, that we get the critical mass for the parking spots.
how much would it cost for them to rent a spot? Would it be more efficient for them to rent a spot from you guys or go to like a parking hall somewhere? Like I know in Tampere it's pretty expensive to go to those parking halls, so would we prefer to use your?
Yes, our main goal is to cut it down to half what it costs on the central areas in Finland. Like in Finland, there's this area system that on the central city areas there's usually €2 per hour, and we want to do it with €1 per hour.
You had a competitor analysis in one of your slides.
Yeah.
Where do you base information?
Of course, let's get back to
Yep.
Alright, there's of course these companies are available for everyone, and we've been doing our homework and been going on with time and time with our competition. Of course, we want to know where we are, and as you can see, there's committed users and good user experience, and committed users is one that differentiates those from us, because most of these try to take it so wide at first. They don't target just individual cities. So like in Barking, there's couple spots in Helsinki, couple in Tampere, and couple in Tallinn. But because they're so scattered, nobody actually tries to even use them because there's no parking slots.
Alright, maybe I have the final question. Where do you see yourself in 6 months from today?
6 months from today, we've been going big in Jyväskylä and browsing new cities to come up in Finland.
Alright, did you hear that word? We will conquer Jyväskylä. That's
Yes.
a good start. Let's give a big round of applause to Akseli for the great presentation. Thank you. And alright, who was the next one? Sure.
Did you have slides?
I have slides, yes.
Yeah, I need them.
Okay, then
Alright, do we have somebody? We have a technical moment here. Erol will give the slides. So we can use the time to actually help the. So Akseli, where did you go? You come back here, and we continue with the Akseli. So. Say something about the because you have done the let's say the due diligence. You know where the competition is. That how are the other companies doing? Like financially, are they in a good shape?
Well, they are doing not so good, and some of them just flowing around the surface. And I've heard that with Barking, they're not actually developing themselves anymore because they had issues with their team.
Alright, so I mean now that you see that your competition is not winning but they are dying, how is that? Are you just being happy, or how does it influence your kind of a planning?
Well,
you are alone on the top.
Yeah, of course it raises questions about how does this business works, but because they're doing a bit of different what we're doing, they're solving the bit of a different problem. So I see that there's so much to do on the field that there's so much potential with us.
Alright, but Vesa Kupari here actually invests, one of those people who invest into companies. So maybe Vesa could say a few words about what would make this company interesting in your eyes. What would have to happen so that you would start thinking about making an investment?
As I said, you're working in a field where everybody else is working today, especially the new generation with this sharing economy and mobile apps. And then it's extremely important for you to differentiate in one way or another so that you can really find your place in the market and show some competitive edge compared with your competitors. And at the moment it's a bit difficult to see that, but that is my advice.
Yeah, I understand. understand that.
And how much revenue would you expect them to have before they start talking to? What would be needed? What would make your eyebrows go up? Is that a word?
Basically, we are investing in startup teams, and basically you don't have to have any revenues when we are investing, but you definitely have to have a very good and solid business plan and good team, and that is what we are looking for.
Yeah, there's almost rest of the team right there, so they can also share a couple words if they want.
Okay, I will interview you.
Yeah.
So, you have a team together for people? Are you still looking for people to join, or are you now satisfied at the moment?
Right now we're satisfied, and of course, if there is something interesting going on, if there is some kind of interesting opportunity, we're open to discussion. And of course, as we saw in the last slide, of course it's not working anymore, but we're looking for new cooperation all the time.
All right. What took you? Because I know that you have been running this for, let's say, a bit over time. So what has taken you surprise by so far? So what is the thing that you didn't expect to happen, or things are taking longer than you expected, or something else?
Well, I'd say that Finnish legislation is difficult because there's so many things that we have to consider, and of course there's this thing with housing companies that they're old-fashioned, and we have to find our ways to housing companies and to get them on board with us.
I have some experience living in Italy, and in finding a spot, a parking spot, is a miracle.
Yeah.
It happens often because everybody needs to find a spot, but it takes time. So having a service like this would be, of course, people would be ready to pay even dearly, because it's so difficult to get in the good places.
Yeah, especially in the bigger cities, like of course in Amsterdam it was like €2 for 7 minutes, and it's it's super expensive.
But then Amsterdam is not Jyväskylä, so
Yeah, yeah, of
that's
course.
the tiny difference.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know about the legal requirements in different countries, but I would expect that they are not any easier
Yeah,
in the future as well.
but in Jyväskylä we're looking for that we find this solid base ground to do business
Okay.
other towns as well.
All right. Are we starting to have? Thank you, Sol. Thank you once more.
All right, thanks.
And we typically don't ask so many questions, but this was a special case. And now we have a newly joined postdoc, Erol, and Erol will present his case, and and yourself as well. So go ahead.
Thanks for the invitation. Thanks for presenting our research projects. I can use this. Okay. And we try to pitch this to win your hearts and minds, sort of, for this project. It's a research project that we have received last year in December, I think, with a research grant of 60,000 euros. And basically, it's a grant by the Finnish Media Association, and we were proposing an idea of how to increase the revenue of publishers, because the publishing or newspaper industry has been challenged to generate revenues. And my research background is platforms, digital platforms, a bit of blockchain and cryptocurrencies as well. And my experience from the payment industry was relating to that project as well. So I can use this one. Okay. Good. So I will talk a bit about the status quo that we have done, and then of course a little demo. There will be a website that we can showcase. We can with the creative name of Film Plus. So the status quo is right now, it has been challenging for publishers to generate content revenues, because they have been providing free content all the years. Now they have figured out, okay, we have to charge because advertising doesn't work anymore. So we have to create some kind of subscription model. And many users are not even willing to pay for newspapers. So who's paying for newspapers? Digital. Free people. Okay. So you can see there's not a strong desire to pay for newspapers online. So we have right now, so the results are a bit mixed. So we have models that are between 10 and 20 euros per month. And readers are particularly not loyal, because after a trial period of 2 or 3 months, they cancel the subscription because they didn't see the value. And it's called the churn rate. So they are actually trying to adopt this for 2 or 3 months, and then they drop it. And competition is also very strong because there's a lot of free content. Global publishers, some have, let's say, paywall content, some are give it for free. So you can somehow get the same news from somewhere else for free. So you don't have to pay for a publisher. And we have also different competitors that are, serving news sort of through Facebook and Google, because you can get some of the same content on Facebook, and also, we're talking about advertisement. So we have global platforms like Facebook and Google that are competing with the publishers as well for advertising. And of course, privacy and data collection will get challenged because platforms like Apple will say you cannot collect that many data anymore. So there will be also a challenge for publishers on mobile devices to collect more data about users. So there are actually some solutions out there that are somehow like news aggregators. So you have different newspapers in one place. That's quite convenient, right? So you have, I think here, hundreds of newspapers or magazines, and you just pay one fee, and you would have access to different newspapers. This solution is, of course, centralized. Everything happening on one platform. That means the publishers have to submit their content to third parties. That means they're creating a new intermediary. And publishers are, of course, not keen on creating an intermediary because they have already direct customer relationships. They already have the data from Pekka already, how much he's paying, and so they can get some kind of interesting data about Pekka. You're interested, right? And and of course, the latest one is from Apple News Plus. So similar fashion, and they're charging $10, I think, right now, and they have a platform fee of 50%. And of course, for some newspapers, it's too much because the margins are already very thin, and the problem is also with Finnish newspapers. The market for readers for Finnish people is very small, so you're not gonna cover the global world in a sense. There are only so many Finnish people here in Finland. So, and then of course, there's not a strong incentive right now to join Apple Plus, for instance, because they're already serving the entire Finnish market. So then we have a little demo, and I think I need a bit help with the link. Okay. Yeah. So we are working on this during the summer while you guys were having vacation. I was working with this with 2 developers who are back end and front end.
You have to log in here.
Oh. Okay.
It is a demo.
Yes. We can also create an account. Okay.
Did you start coding it?
Yes, it's actually working. Can we show this window here?
Yeah, if of course.
No, just let's say package.
Private network.
Okay, can you move this up? Okay, so that's how you. That's actually the registration form. We have 3 different payment methods. We have monthly, so you have one for 30 days. Then we have created a new model package, so you have 15 articles to read. So you pay, I think, right now €5, and you would have access to 15 articles. or you pay once in a while, so micropayments. So we choose package, so we are getting 15 articles. We say credit card, and then we of course agree everything, agree, it's fixed, and then we register. So what you can see is basically we have created some kind of a stream of different Finnish publishers that are somehow, covering different segments, news, whatsoever. Looks on first glance a bit simple, right? And what the idea is basically, okay, you have now here something from Southern Sanomat here, and you're clicking something, you see the preview. And so we have selected the package, so we have 15 articles left to read. And the idea is basically, okay, this is interesting, I'd like to read it. And we have created a new information bar on top. It says what kind of payment type you have package, how many articles you left, and my name and so on. So the question is, how do we determine the payment? We don't want to interrupt the user flow that much that we are asking, you have to pay now, you have to pay now. So what we have done is basically a pay bar, in a sense. As soon you let's say you're scrolling, you set there's a threshold of 50%, and that counts as payment. So you don't have to click anything, you don't have to do anything with your mouse. While you're reading the content, you have somehow control in a sense that you have paid. So the payment is already while you're reading this. And then of course you can see on the top here, now we have only 14 articles left. And then you go back in a sense. And then basically there's a summary here, okay, that your recent articles that you have read, your current payment method, and then there's also the user information that we have, my profile. So again, my last read articles that I have liked, and also my current payment method. So there's already some kind of a tracking capability going on right now. And of course, right now you're planning to test this. Which business payment model is performing better? So is the monthly one performing better? Is the package one performing better? Or you pay each article in a sense? So the next stage is basically to have some experiments and see how the users are using the service. So right now it's sort of working. It doesn't look pretty right now because it has been done by developers. So it's a developer aesthetic type of layout. And so basically we want to also present this to the publishers here, Keske Sumanan here locally, and see what she's saying. And then basically propose this to the publishers in a sense, okay, we have this idea, what do you think? And then based on that we will see how that one works. I think that's it for the moment.
All right, thank you, Erol. What makes this particularly exciting is that this is actually based on research. So you guys have, you guys
That is correct.
Yeah. So this is one of those ideas that comes from the actual scientific work. I have many questions in my mind, but perhaps we let the audience. When you were presenting, I was thinking that I pay actually a lot. I pay press reader 32 euros every month, access to millions of newspapers which I never read, so I just read the one in Italian, so I keep my Italian skills, but that's it. And I actually think about stopping it because I don't use it.
Okay.
And there are many other, so if anything, so I see that there's a behavior model here that for me personally, if anything is less than 5 euros or 4.99, I don't care. That's how much money I lose when I go to restroom. I don't, but anyway. So I mean that's kind of the mental model. So I think that when it goes over 10, I start thinking that I need to get something back.
Yeah. So because right now, if you are subscribing just to Helsingin Sanomat, you just get news from Helsingin Sanomat, a bit of the global news. But if you also would like to read something locally from Bazar or from Oulu, whatsoever, they are not really covering this. So we were thinking, okay, how can we make it more appealing for the users? And of course, the problem is also that publishers don't want to give all their content. That's not, because they have already a working subscription service. They see this rather as a complementary, so as an add-on, on top of their existing subscription service. So there's still some kind of control, but still they can sell their content to someone else outside of Helsinki and so on. So they see this more as a complementary, not as a replacement. So, yes.
If you block the scripts there, how you're gonna restrict that, somebody is not just turning off the JavaScript or, I don't know, building another layer on there and then basically you can read it free.
Well, we are in the research world. Everything is possible right now, so we don't really care that much about the if someone is having a malicious intent to run it for free. But of course, as soon as something has become live, it has to happen something on the publisher side. You're just orchestrating. So we show there's an interesting article, and the user is going to go to the publisher. So nothing is stored on this service. That's the most important thing, because with Apple Plus, all the articles are stored on their platform. We are just sending them to the publishers.
But you're controlling the payment, so
correct.
And the kind of the point where the payment becomes active. So that's interesting. What kind of technological problems?
So there has to be some tracking from our side, and there has to be also some tracking on the publisher side, so we can see he or she has paid already and show the content.
And then I had another question. Do you know Brave browser?
Yes.
Yeah, you know their technique or their goal that they would, through the cryptocurrencies, they would pay for the publishers, for the time they spent on the site. So basically, now there may be articles which, some of them are so much better than the other ones, but you're actually paying the same amount of euros for the different articles.
We were actually looking at
But if it would, track for the time you actually spend on the article, it probably mean that it's better article than the other one.
Or you went to the bathroom, that was also possible, right? So
Yeah, but of course you could have some tracking there that if you're not moving the screen, but the overall issue there is that most of the published content nowadays it's not really relevant, so to say.
We actually were asking the publishers. We had a workshop with the publishers. What would be an ideal metric to measure attentive reading in a sense? They have all the nifty things that you were saying, time and the mouse and so on. But a practical solution would be what we have also applied. Okay, you have read 50% of the lines of the article. That sounds some kind of active payment sort of in a sense. So while you're scrolling and reading, that's some kind of a payment in a sense.
But did the publishers already know about Brave browser?
Yes, we do. But it's also, I have to say, Brave browser is based on voluntarily, right? So you're not forced to pay, so it's voluntary. This one is, we have more control.
Other observations, questions?
To me, it's a bit difficult to comment this presentation from the business point of view, because I'm in general concerned about the quality of the journalism in general today, and that's not because of the digital platform, but all those fake news and that kind of stuff. And I'm not okay. That's a different story.
You actually a good point. This
is very crucial, because if people are willing to pay for the quality of the articles, then they really have to find the right articles for themselves. And I understand this platform in a way that this makes it easier for the consumers to find that kind of articles they are looking for, and make the payment process very efficient and easy for them. And in that sense, that might be very, very valuable.
You're raising 2 points. There's a business issue, one, and the last one is basically you have to figure out some kind of recommendation engine. So showing relevant content that can be done with machine learning or something like this, showing relevant articles that are based on your location or interest. The first thing, business, is actually the most interesting part. How do you get the publishers to all together on a business model they can agree on? Because they are still competitors, but at the same time they have to collaborate. So from a research point of view, for me it's also very interesting. How do you get different organizations that are very vertically integrated working together on a collaborative solution?
Apple as a player was able to achieve this, and
not entirely. So only 1 or 2 newspapers so far, and most let's say New York Times or Wall Street Journal, they have said no.
But it's quite hefty model that they are using for 50%.
Yes. Well, they say they have the reach, global reach, and smaller newspapers like they say. I think the Wall Street Journal is one of them. Said we join. Maybe they have received some payment to join. That might be also something. We don't know.
All right.
I'm a bit concerned because I can differentiate with this service. Is this an opinion piece or a headline or some investigative journalistic article? So do you have any kind of way to see that before you go into that news? You don't mask like the opinion pieces with the real news.
The type of content we have not figured out how to present this. So the question is, does the publisher send it through this RSS feed to the platform in a sense, or is there some kind of a machine or recommendation engine happening on our side? So regarding what to show, we have to think more about this.
Yeah.
That's a very important point.
I do a small poll and then we can now use the audience here. The internet audience cannot vote, but we can vote. So I would say if the cost would be €5 a month and you would see 15 articles of your choosing and they would be very interesting to you somehow, how many of you actually would be willing to subscribe to such a service? €5 a month, 15 articles that would be very interesting to you. All right.
But that's quite decent.
Yeah. See, I'm helping you a bit.
Thank you very much.
My final question is why Jyväskylä is spelled in a completely new way.
This is.
You know that this is not the proper Jyväskylä.
I think it's the well widget, so we don't have control about that.
All right. Let's give a round of applause to Erol for good presentation. And we are zooming to the end. Who is the final presenter of today?
Abrar.
Abrar. Are you coming on stage or? So presentation is going live as Abrar is coming here. So, all right.
Hello
Abrar,
everyone.
floor is yours.
Thank you, Pekka. Hello everyone, my name is Abrar. I recently joined here as a research assistant under Pekka's supervision. So I'm here currently to promote an event that I'm part of. How many of you actually know about Discovery Tuesday? Well, plenty many people. Of course, some people do not know. So I guess this valuable information will be of some use. Discovery Tuesday was actually Discovery Tuesday is actually an event organized in Jyväskylä based on the philosophy that it's not about ideas, it's about making them happen. So there is a lot of myths around entrepreneurship that entrepreneurs are born, not actually made. So Discovery Tuesday actually is organized on this fundamental that actually entrepreneurship is a process. So it's a screenshot of the website that is actually on. That is the 5-week entrepreneurship program that will be starting from the September the 10th, and it will happen every Tuesday for 5 consecutive Tuesdays, and the final application deadline is the September 8th. So what will happen is that these 5 Tuesdays, like there is this 5 dates are mentioned here, like 10th of September, 17th, and it goes on like this. So there's 5 sessions. The first one is about idea creation and team building, and then validating business ideas, then generating income, then creating the perfect pitch, and finally the teams will get to present their final idea. So it's been like after going through several entrepreneurship research, like these were the 4 stages that were found like very as a concrete process. So there is a scientific methodology behind organizing this event. And this is every year. This event has been organized for like quite many years. And this year we have these 3 keynote speakers. We have Pirjo Suhonen, who is the founder of Ivana Helsinki. He's a fashion design icon in Finland. And we have Lenno Kenanen, who is a serial entrepreneur and also angel investor. And also we have Oslak de Silva, who is the CEO of Nordic Business Forum. So they all will be talking about different elements. If you go back to the previous slide, Pirjo Sohonen will be talking about validating business ideas. Len Nukenanen will be talking about creating the perfect pitch on the 4th Tuesday. And of course, finally, the Oslo De Silva will be talking about generating income on the third Tuesday. And of course, we have these keynote speakers, but more than that, when there will be participants for this program, participants will be divided into different groups. And for those groups, we have accommodated 10 different coaches who will be helping them throughout the process. So the participants are not actually lost during the program. So enough about talking about from my end being an organizer of this event. So let's see some experience, some video from the last years.
There's a lot of excitement here. I can see that people are truly interested to build their next big thing and keen on working in startups. So I could actually imagine that within a couple of years there will be plenty of growth companies coming from Jyväskylä and from this program as well.
I think Discovery Tuesday was a nice experience. It was enriching. I met a lot of nice people, so that was cool.
I would absolutely recommend this experience for anybody who's interested in entrepreneurship. You don't really have to have any background or experience in entrepreneurship or business whatsoever.
I definitely recommend every entrepreneurial spirit participating in Discovery Tuesday. Just go there and make it. You won't regret, believe me.
So yeah, as you saw from the last year's video, it actually encapsulates practical coaching from the established entrepreneurs, as mentioned, and also it's an amazing chance for collaborating with international environment, and also platform for trying different ideas and also learning from others as well. So the basic idea is that after these 5 weeks, there is a part of entrepreneur. Everybody has this kind of entrepreneurial spirit within them. So this program will try to help in igniting that entrepreneurial spirit within individuals. So we kind of like to say that in these 5 weeks, you will possibly find the entrepreneur in you. And as you see, this is our project team this year. That's me, and of course there's Joel, our project manager there, and other team members. So here are a few important deadlines, important information. Deadline is on September the 8th, and the very first session starts on September the 10th. So the application deadline is quite soon. And of course, if you're wondering like where this event will take place, its location is Crazy Town in Jyväskylä. So that's about it. Thank you.
Well done, Abrar. Are there still room in the event?
Yeah, I mean, we have been having like around few spots still left, so that's why I'm here today.
Alright, so few spots still left. Anybody going to participate from here? Alright, Renne has signed up. We have here also Johannes Impio in the back of the room, and he's the winner 2 years ago in the winning teams. Johannes, you can raise your hand. Thank you, Johannes. Now you can lower it. Thank you. So, and Johannes ended up going to Slush based on the, let's say, achievement. And after this, after the Discovery Tuesday, we have a Lean Startup course run by myself and Mari from the business school, and many of the teams find themselves in the course and to continue on the actual development of the startup. So it's a great platform, Discovery Tuesday, works really well. Yes, I fully encourage. Please.
And we have 2 other courses as well. So in yritystendas there's the NY vuosiyrittäjän program, which is for Finnish students, but as well pre-incubator starts, I think it's on October in English. So that's as well one point.
So there are a lot of opportunities to actually continue to work after the great Discovery Tuesday. Jyväskylä is really the city of entrepreneurship.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present.
No, we are happy to have you here. Why are you like a kickboxer or what is the?
Yeah, actually, the picture was really spontaneous, but we kind of figured out the inner meaning of the picture, if I may present. It's like, of course, there's a winner at the end for the program, so it's like there's a battle of ideas. So that's why I'm like this. Although it wasn't planned, it was just spontaneous. And yeah, our project manager there, like you have to be confident and bold with your ideas. And I guess these are like, if people will have fun in the program.
So, Johannes, what is your recommendation for somebody thinking about participating? What did you find that was the best of that experience?
I think the road, as it only like 5 weeks long, it was very intensive, and like if you go into there, you have a great opportunity to create something new. So there are lots of great speakers this year again, and learn from the masters in there. So it's like be open-minded and see what they can be people you have never met, and they can be your future partners. So it can be really amazing opportunity for you.
And I remember that you participated. You were a first-year student.
Yes.
So this shows that people of all types can enroll and participate. This is a great opportunity. All right, once more, thank you, Abrar.
I have a question.
Let's hear the question first.
What is the criteria for participating? Do you have to have a team, or you can come as an individual, or how it works?
People can join as an individual. Like after that, on the very first day, I cannot change. Okay, the first day it was like about team building session. If you look at the process, it's idea creation and team building. So in the very first day, the teams will be built, and it continues for the next 4 weeks.
So you don't
if you do not have a team, you don't have to worry about it. Like the teams will be built on the very first session.
Do you have to have an idea when you come there, or they will?
No, you don't necessarily have to an idea. If you have it, then you're an advantage.
Okay.
But it's just you come there, then there will be brainstorming sessions. Then when the teams are formed, you start creating an idea altogether. Yes, and then you move forward with that idea for the next 4 weeks.
But you have to be willing to work in a team.
Yep.
That's the.
And how long are these sessions? Like every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday is like 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yes, in the evening.
Time?
I think it's around 5 or 6. I have to check, but it's all the details are on the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This concludes this month's Open Quiz Friday. I wish you all back here next month. I don't know what the date is, but it's the first Friday. Easy to remember.
4th October.
4th of October. Thank you. And so long. And people here, please.